This is bagel, chilled bagel. Yesterday I just got something exciting in the mail, and it's this square mile coffee. I'm going to quickly unbox this and do a simple coffee cupping with the coffee inside. And I thought I would show you the process that I go through with coffee cupping, and also some of the aspects and characteristics of the coffee that I look for. So now I'm just going to unbox the coffee first. I don't think I've ever had coffee from Ecuador yet, so I'm really excited about this. I'm just going to measure out the coffee bean amount that I need, and for this cup, I'll use about 14 grams. I'll also put a few grams of coffee into the grinder to purge it first. Now that I've poured in the hot water, I'm going to let that sit for 4 minutes. So now that the coffee is brewing, I'll take this time to talk about the process of coffee cupping and what it means. Coffee cupping is a standardized way for people to evaluate coffee. Coffee cupping is a way to measure the coffee's characteristics, for instance, aroma, the body of the coffee, sweetness, acidity, flavors, as well as the aftertaste. So 4 minutes is up, so I'm going to gently stir the surface of the coffee. This is going to break the crust and release a very intense aroma. So after breaking the crust or the surface of the coffee, it's still actually too hot to drink. So I'm going to let that sit for a little longer so that I'm able to taste it better. When it comes to describing and tasting coffee, there are the previously mentioned characteristics that we can use to evaluate and describe our own preferences in coffee. There's aroma. Oftentimes you can smell sweetness, floral notes, as well as nuttiness, and also some spice. But that's definitely not the only notes that you can smell. The other one, we have body. The body of the coffee is when you taste it, how long does it linger and how heavy does it feel in your mouth. Then there's sweetness, acidity. A lot of people mistaken acidity to be something that's bad, but it's actually something you can learn to appreciate. And once you've had really good quality coffee, you'll understand that acidity can mean a host of different things. And then there's flavors and the aftertaste. I'm going to draw a very simplified or label this wheel we have here. So when we're describing coffee notes, we can categorize them in a few different big categories, and then we can go further out to really pinpoint what the notes are. So here we have fruitiness, floral, sweet, nutty, or cocoa, spice, wine, or fermented notes. Spice is very straightforward. It's notes like cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, even pepper. Those are categorized under spice. Another rather straightforward flavor note, to me at least, would be nuttiness and notes like cocoa and chocolate. So oftentimes you'll hear hazelnuts, almonds, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. These are all used to describe the flavors in coffee. After that, we have sweetness. Sweetness is also quite self-explanatory. Anything that you taste as sweet is under this category. So for instance, caramel, brown sugar, toffee, these are very common flavor notes that people can ascribe to the coffee that they're tasting. Also talk a little bit about fermented notes and winey notes. For many natural processed coffees, they oftentimes have a sort of tropical, fermented, winey character to its flavors. Floral. I think for me personally, I usually use floral notes as a descriptor for the aroma of the coffee, but sometimes Coffee can actually have taste and flavors that resemble some sort of flower, such as rose or lavender. That's also, you can definitely find coffees that have that characteristic. And finally, fruitiness. So I drew a very wide portion for fruitiness is because there are so many different categories of fruits. We have citrus fruits, like your lemons, oranges, grapefruits, and then there's also like stone fruits. Oops. So think of apricots, peaches, plums. These are all stone fruits, and they're usually sweeter compared to citrusy fruits. There's also dried fruits. So think of raisins, dried prunes. These are much more intense in their sweetness, and it's very compact. So it's definitely a different kind of sweetness and fruitiness compared to other sort of fruits. And then we also have some berries. I think berries are quite unique in the acidity that they bring to coffee. It's very different from citrus fruits. You can think of how a strawberry or a raspberry tastes compared to a lemon or an orange. They both contribute to the acidity of the coffee. So I'm going to taste the coffee with my spoon. So I'm also doing this obnoxious slurping noise because when you slurp the coffee, you actually spray the coffee all over your taste buds so that your taste buds receive the stimulant all at the same time. This coffee is, I'd say, a medium. It has a medium body to it. I do like my coffees to have a little bit of weight to them so that I can enjoy it a little longer and have it linger a little bit longer. It also has a sort of raw sweetness to it, sort of like brown sugar, sort of like brown sugar, perhaps a unrefined sugar. There's also a little bit of tanginess, acidity to it. I wouldn't attribute it to notes like berries, nor is it citrusy. Dried fruits are probably a little too sweet compared to the taste I'm tasting. However, it's not exactly like a juicy plum or a juicy peach, but it has a little bit more tanginess to it. It kind of tastes like a fruit that you have to remove the peel for, or the skin. Sort of like pears. It kind of tastes like the skin of a pear or an apple. So it does have a inherent sweetness to it, but also adds a little bit of tanginess to the flavor. The aftertaste and the mouthfeel is very creamy. It's very smooth, as opposed to probably you've tried coffees that are very astringent and they leave a very dry feeling in your tongue. But this one is very nice and creamy. At first, when I smelled the dry aroma, it was very strong. I was just smelling the beans. There's this very interesting kind of wheat-like aroma to it. Like wheaty, perhaps like cereal, but very, it's also very sweet when you smell it. I didn't smell any florals. I feel like it's more near the nutty cocoa and spice area, which is very interesting. The acidity is not high at all. I'd say this is a low to medium acidity. I taste some sort of cereal-like or carb-like sweetness to it, but I can't really pinpoint what exactly the note or the food item is. And usually for coffee cuppings, they last for a while because first you have to let it sit until it's cool enough to taste, and then you continue to let it cool so that you're able to identify more and more flavor notes and characteristics as the coffee develops and changes throughout the different temperatures. So I think I will end the very simple, quick coffee tasting today, and it's definitely a coffee that I enjoy. I'm really happy that I chose this one, and I also look forward to trying out different coffee from Square Mile. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting and you took something away from the video, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.